Alright, so basically I just want to kind of go over the deck a little bit and how I like to build the deck, or at least how I've been playing it lately. Now, there's a couple things to note, right? So we've got, let's look this up. Let's look at this way. Move it around a little better. Alright, so the Brazen Borrowers, third Profts, second Spell Pierce, first 3 steps. This island could be a different land, MDFC, or any sort of land that you'd like to play. Third island has been good for me lately because of all the demolition field effects. You could play a fourth Fiery Impulse. You could play a third Spell Pierce. You could play 0 Profts and play the combo. You could do a lot of stuff. The 3 steps could really be anything. I have it in the main deck just to free up an extra sideboard slot. This core of the deck really that I wouldn't touch, and I think Ledger Shredders are really arguably not core, so let's move this. But really, this 16, these 4. If you want to play Trespass, you could play 2 Trespasses and 3 Cruises, but most of the time you're going to play 4 Treasure Cruises. This is all pretty core, and then at least 7 removal spells. I could see the metagame like where you might play only 2 Firing Impulses. Maybe this is a Spikefield Hazard. But generally speaking, you're going to play these 27 cards, and I also think that you need at least 10 1-mana cantrips game 1. Just for consistency's sake, you know, we used to play obviously 4 Opt, 4 Consider, and that was it, and the deck was fine. So I think people saying that you have to play the 11th and 12th cantrip are mistaken. I think that it is a nice luxury, but it does also cut down on the amount of flexibility you have with your flex slots. Now this version of the deck, so a lot of people will say that Ledger Shredder is also core, but I disagree. There's plenty of examples of lists that have done well with Thing in the Ice or No Threat. So while I do think Ledger Shredder is an excellent engine for the deck and threat, I would not include it in the core of the deck. So this gives you about 12 flex slots. You figure 19 lands roundabout, and then you have about 29 absolute core cards. So what do you want to do with your flex slots, right? Now, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, playing a turn 2 Ledger Shredder and then playing turn 3 Profts plus a cantrip, especially Consider or Opt. Slide hand is slightly worse, though still fine, since you get 2 triggers, but will allow you to connive, put a counter on the Shredder, so it'll be a 2/4, and then you'll have drawn 3 cards, so you'll make it a 5/7 on turn 3, which is basically game ending if they don't answer the Shredder immediately. You can threaten turn 4 kills if you can manage to discard a couple of Arclight Phoenixes to bring back on turn 4. And you can quickly outpace whatever your opponent's strategy is at all, really. The whole format is unprepared for this. So my current assumptions are that this is the best proactive thing you can be doing in the deck. And therefore, I want to try and maximize this. You know, a lot of people are playing 1 or 2 Profts. Maybe they have the combo. I think the combo is quite clunky. While it was good in the past, I think that this Proft Shredder sort of combination is more effective at combating the format at large, and also just sort of in a vacuum. I think it's far more consistent and far more powerful. It also enables your pick locks to become larger threats, and it supercharges your crews in the mid to late game to basically end the game on the spot. So you draw 3 cards, put 3 counters on something. Because we're playing 3 Profts, I think Brazen Borrower gets a lot better, as putting a flash threat into play and then untapping and playing a Profts and casting crews puts 4 counters on this, 7 powers, a lot of power. So, you know, you are, without the Trespass combo in your deck, you're sort of angling more towards the tempo mid-range style of playing Phoenix, which, you know, might grate on some people, but you know, I obviously played 3 Confounding Riddles in my main deck in Atlanta last time, and so I'm no stranger to playing a more controlled shell. But I do think that currently this is just a very powerful synergy that abuses Treasure Cruise in a way that is very difficult for a lot of decks to beat. So I mean, even on the draw, if you stick a Shredder and the Vampires doesn't have a Fatal Push or a way to kill it, and then they untap and play Sorin Ripper, and then you do the Proft Shredder bullshit, right, and you attack with the 5/7 at their Sorin, what are they going to do? Chump block with their Ripper? Like, you know, no, they're going to let the Sorin die, and then you can beat the Ripper. Now, if they untap and kill your Shredder, obviously it's not great, but I just mean, like, even on the draw, it enables some really powerful counterplay to the more powerful strategies in the format. It also closes the door very quickly in the late game without costing a lot of mana. It kind of turns your creatures all into Crackling Drakes, which you'll notice is missing from the sideboard, which we can discuss a little bit. 3 steps kind of plays into that, right? So, in my testing so far in the format, and I've tried all kinds of stuff. I tried that 5 mana thing that makes a Thopter. I tried, Crackling Drakes obviously were good for a long time. I've tried lots of different alternate threats, and I've been very impressed with this 3 steps ahead Fable of the Mirror Breaker combination. Now, if you haven't seen this before, the basic idea behind it is you play a Fable on turn 3, you make a Goblin. If they don't kill the Goblin, you get to attack on turn 4 and hold 5 mana up to Cryptic something to counter or draw 2, discard 1, which is very high value. And then let's say that this doesn't work out, they kill the Goblin. You can still use this as a cancel to protect against whatever game-breaking spell your opponent is doing. So it's never dead after turn 2, right? But it is a little clunky, so you can even discard to the Fable, right? There's a little bit of synergy there as far as utilizing your cards, making them better when they're bad. Fable's very good at that, obviously. But the biggest draw to the card is that it becomes not only a 2-for-1 when your opponent has a Rest in Peace or a Leyline in play, or a Hearse that's eating up your graveyard resources. Suddenly Cruise is no longer a 2-for-1. And if you look at the deck, there aren't a lot of 2-for-1s in the deck besides Treasure Cruise. It's pretty much just Picklock Brinkster. So if your cruises are turned off, it can be difficult to generate value. Well, 3 steps ahead is a way to do that, as is Fable. And together, if you have a flipped Fable, you can end a turn, make a copy of it. It's a real copy, so it sticks around. And then you have the double reflection sort of lock in place. And you can just spend all your mana making Goblin tokens every turn. And it's very difficult for your opponent to stop this. They need 2 removal spells if you have both reflections untapped. And, also just copying a Ledger Shredder in a turn, untapping and casting a couple of spells can be very, very strong. The synergy between these 2 cards is very powerful in the mid-rangey and controlling matchups. It gives you ways to go up on cards when your opponent has a lock piece in play. So if my opponent starts with a Leyline of the Void in play, for example, a Vampire's opponent or a Wasteland player, I'm usually pretty excited about how the game's going to go because, between Axe, Shredder, Fable, 3 steps, you have lots of ways to get rid of these Treasure Cruises. So suddenly, they're down a card, and while you don't have access to the 3-for-1, you have turned into a deck that has so much grind and value that you can often just ignore the fact that you can't cash your Treasure Cruises and still keep playing your game and outvalue them. Turning all of your 1/3s into real bodies with this Profts. A note on the Sokens on the board. There's certain matchups where I want to board both these Sleight of Hands out, especially matchups where I'm trimming Phoenixes or cutting them entirely. And the Sleight of Hands lose a lot of value when you don't have the Phoenixes. As they don't have the synergy with Profts, you're less likely to want to hold a sorcerer or cast a sorcerer on your turn since you have a lot of 3 steps in your deck post board. Therefore, in the matchups where I do want to board the Sleight of Hand out, I don't want to be too greedy. And oftentimes in those same matchups, I'm bringing in a Fiery Impulse or Anger of the Gods. And the Sokenzan is there to maintain the mana consistency while also being effective against control players as an extra threat that, in those matchups, you really don't want to miss your land drop. So just bringing an extra mana source in is a positive against them anyway. So, yeah, I have this 8th removal spell in the sideboard for the matchups where you want it, elves, creatures, etc. I have 2 Dispute for the mirror, but I'm also bringing in these 3 steps and a couple of Fables and Ashioks. I think Aether Gust is very good against the current iterations of green, especially if you start on a Shredder Profts draw, because this enables you to effectively, let's say you're on the draw and you go Shredder Profts and they have Elf, Kiora, Cav, do something else, right? Well, you can Gust the Cav, attack with your Shredder, kill the Kiora, and then hold up either, you can hold up another spell, and suddenly your opponent is in this, absolute bind where no matter what they do, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's about it. I think Anger is in a good spot right now against Amalia. I've seen some Torpor Orbs. I think Torpor Orb is good. If I wanted a card specifically to fight Amalia and Green, I would play those instead of these Gusts, but the Gusts also come in against the Slickshot decks. And I think this is enough better against the Slickshot matchup, and I think I am good enough in the Amalia matchup with the 3 steps Fable Anger plan. With all of this stuff is coming in, so like, I think that the matchup becomes pretty fine post board. Even pre board, you can beat a resolved Amalia combo that puts a Reservoir on top by having 3 steps and a Borrower. You Borrower the Amalia, you 3 steps the Reservoir, and then you grow some threats bigger with the Profts while using the rest of your cards to control their board. Often they'll combo and their hand will be whatever's on top of their deck and 4 or 5 lands. So you can often create a board state that gets through 80 life, without too much trouble. Now that's sort of a breakdown of the deck, and some of my thoughts on the deck. You're not going to agree with everything I say. That's fine. I think you should form your own opinions. You should play a lot of games of Magic, especially if you're prepping for the RC. And like I said, and I've said many times in the Discord before, the core of the deck, that 48 cards, right? You have 12 flex slots or so. If you count all of the real flex slots as flex slots, you could put a ham sandwich in those slots and still probably win a bunch of games of Magic. I was testing a Sacred Cat Treasure Cruise, basically. So like I think you could take these cards and put almost any other cards with this set of cards right here, and your deck is going to be pretty good. But yeah, if you want to play a second Stormcarved Coast, if you don't like the third island, if you want to play some of the MDFCs, if you have to play 8 burn spells, if you have to play 12 cantrips, I think all of these positions are totally fine to take. I might even, the one that gets me the most is the 12 cantrip thing, because, on the one hand, yes, you become more of a proxy deck, but you're already so good of a proxy deck, and in a lot of the matchups where you board Phoenix out, your sleight of hands are significantly worse post board. There's obviously the idea that these cards will draw you to your sideboard cards, and therefore they're great, but Fable does the same thing and is very high impact, whereas sleight of hand is very low impact post board when you're trimming Phoenixes. Like I said, though, we don't have to agree on everything. Hopefully this will be an informative league for you to watch, and I will see you in game 1. All right, we're back with game 1, and we're gonna have to mulligan, which is part of the game. Can't get away from mulliganing one-landers. Although if we had another cantrip, I would probably keep on the draw. So like as a heuristic, I like double cantrip. Island's a little awkward, but I mean in this case we only have 1, so we're gonna mulligan. But sand is much better. Got a Karuga. That is a problem because these fiery impulses are bad. We're still gonna keep because we don't want to go to 5, and it's probably Quint, and we're probably going to lose game 1. Yeah, it's probably Quintorius. Borrower is a good draw. Just shocking there. Life total isn't that important, and we're gonna probably shock at some point anyway. So we're looking for our Spell Pierces. We're looking for a Shredder or a Profts. I don't want that card. Spell Pierce is good. Insulates us from the first elephant. Let's just shock again. I don't see a reason not to. Very unlikely for our life total to matter this game. The Doth of Blue-Red means that they have Domain, which is unfortunate. But we have a Borrower to interact with the binding if we want to do that. Shock, they have a ramp spell. This is definitely going to be a hard game to win. If we mill a bunch of Phoenixes, then that's our avenue. Or if we find another counterspell, maybe. There's 1 Phoenix, that's good. Okay. Very likely he's going to get a land and then have a card. So Otawara is a good draw as well. We're gonna pass. There's an argument for playing the pick lock there and holding up Spell Pierce. Yeah, go get your land. At least we have an answer to the first elephant. Fertile Footsteps. This means that our Spell Pierce is no longer alive for next turn if he has an untapped land, which seems like a problem. So let's go ahead and cast the Consider. It's going to make it harder for us to get our Phoenix back later, but let's put this in our graveyard. Let's go ahead and pierce this. Probably holding up a Binding if I had to bet. Now if we draw a land, we have Otawara, Borrower. We did draw a land, I'm going to shock. Well, now I look like a fool for shocking that many times, although we likely would have just ended up doing it anyway. So we've got Borrower, Otawara, Opt as options. We can Axe to get rid of the Phoenix and then cast our Borrower to put the Phoenix in the yard if he goes for a Carnosaur. He just grabs Karuga, which is great for us. I'm going to cast this Opt. Pretty likely to find something else to cast. Shredder is actually a little awkward here. Let's put this on the bottom. So now we can beat one Carnosaur. There's something to be said for playing the Borrower that turn. We found an Opt. So the question is, do we play our Otawara? Do we play our Otawara? So if we Opt and we find a cruise, we can cruise, find a land, play a land, hold up, Axe plus Impulse plus Borrower. Maybe another spell to bring both the Phoenixes back. It's just a little bit awkward. I think our plan is like play Otawara, he plays Carnosaur, we Axe and Impulse it. If he plays the Elephant, then we can Borrower and then cast Borrower. Nightmare would be if he plays the stupid Ward 7/7 thing with a reach. Really looking for him to do something on this turn so that we didn't waste a turn. Because we'll probably end up casting the Opt if he doesn't do anything to look for a cruise. Concoct. You get a 6/6. Okay, sure, you get to concoct. It's an interesting addition to the deck. Puts the Carnosaur in the yard, brings it back. Gets to discover. Okay, let's see what he hits. Spark Double. So now we get to go discard this. Impulse this. We probably just have to untap because we know that he has the Binding. But I guess it doesn't really matter because he'll just Binding a Phoenix. So let's go ahead and cast. Well, it's a little awkward. So if I cast the Borrower and he Bindings it, then I'll need to find a way to interact. Whereas I have a way to interact now, so let's just draw. 3 steps is an amazing draw. Now we can just say go. And cryptic something. That one's gonna get cryptic commanded. Please don't have something weird like Dovin's Veto. Let's pitch the opt. And then we untap. Arguable we should have pitched the free to Fey. Now we are kind of relying on finding a land at some point. Impulse gives me outs to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Impulse gives me outs to Carnosaur. But Consider, I think, is better. So now if we find a land, oh, that's so good. I have to bin it. That's not a land that I can use. Alright, we might be losing this game. Just kidding, we got a chance. Still gotta probably get lucky, but... because he has a binding, and then we have one way to interact. No binding would be very surprising to me. Very, very surprising. I might choose not to use it. It wouldn't be that surprising, but not having it would be weird. Hopefully we draw... man, the other borrower, I guess. Does not binding. Very interesting. He has a Karuga in his hand. This might just be a cast Karuga angle. That would be sensational. Now he casts the binding. Oh, he didn't want to get spell pierced. Playing around the spell pierce, huh? Yes, yes. Clever impersonator. Any non-land permanent on the battlefield. Okay. If that's your whole play, I think I'm fine with that. Because I get to play a haul and then I go borrower your thing, threaten lethal. Unless you have another binding. Canal is a horrible draw. I'm doing this a little differently. Yeah, it's possible that I'm punting here and I should just hold that borrower plus. But if I bounce this one, it does not have flash. And then I have 12 exactly. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3. So he can't double elephant me. If I draw a cruise, then we probably kill him next turn, because we probably find a Profts. Karuga is a great thing. That is beautiful. Oh, that's annoying, huh? You have to find a blue source. So I can give him, if I borrow this, no, I should just let him, well, not threatening lethal next turn because he has a blocker now. Just let it happen. Cruise. Perfect. Easy game. Obviously exile your non-spells. Just do it every time. Let's find a Profts. Or the other borrower would be awesome. Another cruise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's find a Profts. No other Profts, huh? You have double axe. Double axe borrower. Don't think I can afford to play a shredder. Let's see, can I 1-2 shredder? Can I afford not to? Let's play the shredder. This might be kind of greedy. Play a land, because we can beat the 5, and then he's got another land 5. And then we spell pierce, so we go borrower, and then we spell pierce. So let's cycle a land here. He's got the Tanuki, he didn't want to cast it. I'm gonna go get a land. That way he can go double toil and trouble. Okay. I get to trigger my shredder this turn, more than likely. Quintoria Scanda. Okay. Maybe you cast a spell from exile. It does 2 damage each. Alright, so let's petty theft this. Now we do need to find a Proft next turn. I think. So if I discard the axe, he goes to 2. And I have 4 plus. Let's just discard the canal. And I have as many options as possible. He goes Karuga, draws 3. Now, if he plays the Quintorius Canned, then we're in business. If he doesn't, I get to go axe your guy, untap, axe your other guy, activate attack. Alright, here's the spell pierce trigger. There's a borrower. What happens if he has another fucking Leyline Binding? So, man, this is a tough decision. So I can either discard the axe, put a counter. I can double axe. And if he has binding, I'd lose. So I go axe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Activate. You take 9. Just a shredder. I'm just gonna take it. Excellent. I think I want the Fables. And these cards all suck. Shaq's not the worst. If he's got the stupid bring your thing back thing. Just submit this. This hand looks great. If he kills me on turn 4, then fine. Let's play this slightly, look for probably a land or 3 steps. Hopefully he bindings this. Plays a tap land. If he doesn't play anything, then I'm afraid. Countersource it. Alright, now we get to resolve our Fable. That's shock. Red sources are not good in this matchup. Now we have the Fable 3 steps lock, and he's probably just cooked. I guess you could have something cool here. Binding my goblin. Or my Fable. Binding my goblin. Okay. I'm just gonna let this resolve. I'm gonna discard. Discard, consider land. So might as well consider then. Yeah, let's put that in the yard. Now I want to discard this one, and I think I still want to discard the consider. And we can just hold a counterspell up. He's going to put a land in play. Another thing we need to be wary about is the fact that he can... if he thought distortions this next turn, it is not good. Not amazing. For that reason, I'll probably loot with this 3 steps if I can. Put crew in your hand. Yield until the next end step. Yeah, I'm just going to loot with this. Actually, at this point, if he thought distortions, I can copy my flipped Fable. So let's put this on top. Now we can cruise. I might Besage this. That is a creature. That is also a creature. Now I want to find a land pretty badly. No land. No land is kind of tough, but we will make do. 8. Let's pitch the cruise. Let's pitch the Proft. Just in case he thought distortions me, I don't want to be boned. He did have the Besage you. Thought about it. He has that thing. Okay. Oh, I can't cast spells during his turn. I just punted. Big punt, actually. Huge punt. Probably just dead. Oh man, I'm just dead to that punt. Yeah, okay, we lose. Hilarious. Maybe we could have found a gust. Maybe I didn't have to concede. But let's try that again. Probably didn't have to concede, and I probably should have. I don't know. I haven't seen Dramoka out of them before. Let's keep. We need to find some action, but we have a piece of interaction and some cantrips. That qualifies as action. Dramoka is annoying though. We should definitely try and find our gusts. I wish he had Besaged me. It would have been great. Haul. Would have really liked to draw a Shredder Profs ever. Be pretty powerful. And we will consider. He probably has a binding here. Let's look in the graveyard. All lands, huh? Well, if this Fable gets Besaged, we are in rough shape. Okay, just an armadillo. Good. If this Fable survives, I will not feel so bad. Great. Wow. Yes. Let me discard these two. Excellent. Maybe I've got the wrong idea with this matchup. Boarding Phoenix is out. Maybe that sucks. Go get a land. Oh, Shark Typhoon, huh? Okay. It's a cool card. Maybe he'll just miss a land drop. That'd be too much to ask. That would be too much to ask. Nice base. Cast Free the Fae. Oh, we'll grab a Borrower. Or pop in a Borrower. Okay. I'll go ahead and borrow this thing. Are you minding? What do you take? You take the Goblin? You're gonna be gobbling on these nuts soon. I'm gonna play a Shredder here. Just need the pressure. Dispute for the first spell, and then I can 3 steps to the next one. That's fine. I can also Borrower if he does nothing. Looks like he's doing nothing. Now we're threading lethal pretty quickly. And we found a treasure cruise. Pretty much just casting these because, like, yeah, first of all, we can find this. Let's play our land. Let's actually discard the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to the opt. Draw a card. Alright, now we have a Gust 2, which is great. Sage you. Yes. Main island. Take 7. Go. You get a land. I'm happy for you. He doesn't have a Besage for my haul now, which seems like a problem for him. Seems like it could be a real issue. Because now he's just dead on board if he thought it distortions me, so he has to go for it, and I have multiple counter spells. So he is a snookered. Take 2. He's just saying go. Interesting. Allow me to consider my options. Let's put this in the yard. Okay, now we can Draw 2. Trigger Connive. Just looking for the third profs, really. Cruise is quite good. Switch the Dispute. Use counter. 3, 5, 8. Which is Spire Bluff. I'll cast this. Alright, if he doesn't have a binding or something. Let's discard that. And discard the Shredder. It's on this, so you can't binding it, or you can't Carnosaur it. And then we'll see if we got lethal. Two, 3, 4. The fuck is this? A Shark Typhoon. So I can Odor this. Alright, sweet. Alright, that was match 1. I'll be back later with more matches. Alright, we're queuing up for match 2 of the league. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff I didn't mention in the pre-match warm-up. The Ashioks are really useful in the mirror, and I know there's some argument about whether they should be in on both the play or the draw in the mirror match, and I think that they have enough high impact on the way that the matches play out that you should just be having them in your deck. Like, yeah, they can be awkward sometimes, but you know, there's very few things in the mirror that matter as much as a resolved Ashiok, and I think that having that in your deck is going to improve your win rate in the mirror. Alright, let's get started with match 2. Have our 3 steps. We got some interaction and a borrower. This hand seems pretty good. 2 shocks. So if our opponent is a black deck, then we'll have wanted to have shock to try and pierce the Thoughtseize. But if they're not a black deck, then I think we'll, like, let's say it's a creature deck, we'll have wanted to have played it tapped. Unless we want to shock Axe and then borrow the second thing. Kind of talking myself into shocking here. Alright, let's shock. I'm only taking 4, but if it's an aggro deck, then we'll at least kill the first thing and then we'll have borrower, so. And if it's an aggro deck and they play Kumano, Lumimarsh, so probably Amalia. There's a chance it's like the Roots deck. Opponent is tanking. They decide not to cast whatever they were thinking about casting. Maybe a C-Note to Scout. So now we have to shock again. Ooh, but we draw a Shredder. Kind of like just running this out. It's pretty free right now. He can't really punish unless he has Thoughtseize or push. If he has push, then this is not ideal, but if we draw a land next turn, then we're in business. If we don't, then we're in trouble. In F6 because we're tapped out. Yeah, if we draw a land next turn, I think we're probably going to win the game. If we don't draw a land, it could be tough. So he might just be playing the Roots deck. Black green plays his roots here. Wow, okay, so it is a Malaya. Interesting. So if we draw a land, Phoenix, kind of awkward. Let's attack. At least we can axe the Wild Growth Walker, but we might borrow it. So the thing is that now, because we have 3 steps, game 1, we can beat a resolved Aether Flux, whatever, Reservoir, the life gain thing, the deal 50 thing, because we can counter it. But that's only if we hold this forever. It would be cool if he played, like, I don't know what he could play here that I'd really enjoy. I'm afraid he's got the 3-2, so I don't want to kill this right now. Because if he does the 3-2 that brings it back this turn, then I'm kind of owned. He just ends the turn, so because he ends the turn, it makes me want to brace and borrow with the Wild Growth Walker. Just to do something with our mana and restrict his ability to cast Chord. And then we'll also have the Borrower on Exile. Let's draw a land. A land. Not a great land, but a land. I'll take any land. So now he plays 4th land, says go. And we have a Spell Pierce for the Coco. Or he could play his Wild Growth Walker, which would also probably be fine for us. Worst case is if he has like Innkeeper, Wild Growth Walker, go. That would be annoying. So he plays the Wild Growth Walker. I'm fairly content to just wait, I think. If he's going to give us a Connive here, well, that's really good for us. So let's Connive, put our Phoenix in the yard. It's a good draw. So like I said, I'm a bit wary of the 6 are a really good draw because we can do it on turn. I'm wary of having him play the 3-mana thing. But I guess I'll have 3 steps up if I want it. I think I just let this resolve, let him attack me for 2. And then I pick lock and his turn. And I'll still have the axe. Chord on top. Chord's pretty good. Yeah, I think I'd still rather pick lock this turn. So I want to fuel the cruise. He chooses him. Oh, he can't attack. He just played it. Spell Pierce is interesting. Consider is interesting. I think we have to take this Consider. Because we need to fuel the graveyard. And we'd like to trigger our Shredder with the axe. Let's try land. Land would be awesome. Another land that is kind of technically a sort of a land. So now I almost don't want to attack. Because it makes his attacks very poor, even though he'll have the Chord. Very difficult to lose, per se, from this position, but I can definitely end up losing the game. But hard for me to lose this turn because I have all this stuff up. Worst case scenario, he goes land, go, and then I can't pierce his Chord. And I'm forced to just untap. Guess I could let him cord for 2 and see what he gets. If he goes land cord for 2, it's like kind of annoying. Green, green. 1, 2. Oh, it's got company. He just gets owned here. Because now I get to consider trigger connive, and then I'll be able to cruise next turn with 3 steps to X up, and it's pretty tough. Pretty tough from this spot. Honestly, I might, if I find a land, then I can just hold up Cryptic, and like that's hard to lose too. Let's see what we hit. A Borrower. Borrower's pretty good, but I think I'm actually going to discard the Borrower and look for a land. So we'll have 7. If we bend, we have 7. If we don't, we have 6. There's the land, though. Probably just going to keep that. And then I'll untap. Basically, we want to have the Cryptic for his cord. Though I guess if we cruise, we'll have cancel plus lightning axe. And we have double lightning axe if we cruise. 2, 2. Borrower up. He's gonna cord. Probably cords for 3. I guess we should just hold this up. I'm gonna get in for 3 and take 4, but if he wants to do that, then he can't pay for Spell Pierce. I'm gonna hope that he just casts it on his turn. I have this Borrower as well if I would like to. But I'd really like him to go for like something powerful here that I can counterspell. He's got 4 cards, so let's see. If he plays the Innkeeper, he goes to 4 mana. He plays a land. He's got 2 cards. He definitely has a cord. And then he could have Amalia, and that would be a problem. We're just gonna take 4. My life total is a resource. His is going to die quickly if we ever find a Proft, because we have the Shredder in place, so we can deal quite a bit of damage. So he doesn't leave his creatures back to convoke with, so that makes me think that he's planning on saying go. He's also got these mana confluences, which are going to become a problem for him as this game goes on. So he does just say go. So we have some options here. Like, he can cord for 3 and get exile your guy. I think that's the best he can do. So I can just play into that and just play this Borrower. And we'll trigger Connive. Because if he cords right now, like, what's he gonna get? Amalia? I don't really care. I guess if you got a dog, it would be kind of annoying. does have to pay 2 life. Probably the most annoying thing he could get is the exile your guy. But then we have a borrower, so it's kind of fine. X equals 2. Oh, you can't even get that. You can only get a 2. Okay. Yes, you have an Amalia. Very good card. And then, yeah, we just untap. Cast Treasure Cruise, and then he's kind of cooked. I guess we have to X first. We can do this one. And no reason to take the word damage because we can do this, and then we'll still have cancel plus X plus. Oh, we do need to kind of. A little bit awkward. So if we cruise and don't hit a land, then we won't have double axe plus cancel. So I guess it's probably right to just exile the Phoenix, even though it's counterintuitive. But this guarantees that we don't die in case we miss all lands, or at least we have like max protection up. Okay, well that's actually just lethal, so pretty good deck. 3, 6, 9, 12. Sometimes you hit a lot of Phoenixes and you just kill them because the deck's better. Cruise, XX, okay. We still have a cancel. So yeah, I think this matchup's quite good. It's been good for me, but obviously, you know, things kind of lined up well there. But even if he untaps, then we have double axe plus cancel, and it's like, how are you going to navigate through that one? Now, post board is very interesting, because I want to bring my 3-steps in, and I want to bring my Ashioks in, and I want to bring my Fables in, and these Angers are good, and this Fire Impulse is good. So this is quite a lot of cards. Now, how are we going to get 10 cards? Possibly 11 on the play. It's a bit worse on the draw. We are on the draw, so I don't hate keeping these out and keeping the Phoenixes in on the draw. It's harder to resolve, but it is very powerful in the play. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a Phoenix. I'm going to cut 2 sleight of hands because the sorcery speed is tough. I'm going to actually cut these spell pierces. I used to keep the spell pierces in, but I think 3-steps does a better job at answering their hate maker cards. Well, also, they can't play around this with their life gain artifacts, so you can actually beat a resolved combo fairly easily. Bring the tokens on in because we're bringing in the double red spells, and also we cut the sleight of hands. Yeah, usually I'll cut one of these, and this is where it kind of gets tough, right? So you're bringing in the Angers and you're bringing in the Fire Impulse. So I've been trimming an axe or two, but the problem is if they're on the build that relies on the 3/4, this can be it can be hard to kill the 3/4. So I'll often have to board these back in, but I do think that you need to cut some because you don't want infinite. But this is kind of where I get to in the matchup. On the draw, on the play, I like to bring the Fables in and cut the Arclights, but you know, because they're more able to interact with this, and the Fable plus 3-steps plan is actually quite good. In fact, you know, you could maybe convince me that this is just right. All right, it's just such a good plan. The 3-steps Fable shit is just actually really good, but I do think on the draw it's harder to execute. So let's try with the Phoenixes for game 2. So we have Anger, but if they kill us on turn 3, then we're just going to die. But if we go Anger into hold up 3-steps, then the game is very lopsided. And we have Profts on 2 or Picklock. Pat? Yes, beautiful. Keeper turn 2, please. Alright, Phoenix is not a great draw, but it's not a terrible one. I'm going to shock. That way they think I have something. When I don't, it's going to be very strange. My opponent's going to be a little bit confused. I wouldn't blame him. Now if he goes Innkeeper... Innkeeper. Damn. Unfortunate. Maybe he thinks I have a burn spell now, because I didn't want to kill the Innkeeper. So the thing is, if I play the Proft right now, and then he'll know he has free reign to just tap out, so I'm going to not. Even though I kind of would like to keep the Sodawara in my hand as an extra out to the combo resolving. But I think, you know, okay, so the question is, if he plays land and says go, do I pick lock and hope that he misses on his combo? Because then the anger will likely win the game. Or is that too greedy? No cord. No cord is probably good. I'm going to tank on this block. I'm going to think about killing this thing. I'm going to let it do the damage. If he says go, he's got a Coco and this. Alright, I think with this type of hand, I just have to gamble. Because I could, like, I took my Spell Pierces out. I could just untap and play 3 steps and counter it. I could be patient. I could be patient. I could be patient. If he doesn't my upkeep though, I'm going to feel like a fool. Alright, thank God. Okay, so now I say go, and then he Cocos, I counter it. Now what? Now what, kind sir? What would you like to do? Yeah, man, I'm gonna counter it. Can't let you have that one. Now he goes land, Coco again. And then he misses, and we anger, and we win. That would be stupendous. I had to play the Visaggio. Notable. White source, black source. Asmalia. Alright, don't have another creature, please. Please don't have another creature. Oh, planes. This is great, actually. Play another creature that isn't Wild Riftwalker. Oh, he has his oh, he doesn't have Cord. Crap. Maybe he has Blossoming Defense. If he has none of that, then I like our chances. I'm gonna play this on red. We aren't playing Trespass, so it's not as bad to do that. But it gives me better options later. Now, if he's got something good, we just lose. But if he doesn't, then we're very likely to win. As we'll untap with 5 lands and double Prankster, so we're very likely to hit something good. Blossoming Defense is tough. Tammy to safe keeping. That one's good. Probably want to bin that. At least I get the Innkeeper. Yeah, you probably want to bin that one. This is probably a little better than Blossoming Defense. I mean, if he just has, like, dude, kill you, like, fine. I guess he doesn't need that much. He needs, like, Cord plus. Cord plus Walker, or Walker plus, or Life Gain Guy plus. It's not a given that he has it, but it's not that unlikely that he has it. Maybe he'll play around my red source, since I repped the red source, the removal spell earlier. gonna tank like I'm thinking about removing it. Yes, I am shuffling the exact 75. All right, that just connecting is good. I didn't die this turn, which is really good. I wonder what his line is. All right, now I feel fairly safe because I have lots of action. All right, that's a removal spell. It does kill this thing. This makes me want to play this. We have 2 borrowers left. Don't want to miss my land drops. I have no way to draw cards except playing this, which I'm not willing to do right now. And if he chords for 2 and gets a walker. Alright, no chord. Still no chord. I feel like he would have cast it. Though I do have 5 lines up. I'm gonna let this hit me. I don't mind going down to be more safe in this matchup. Like, I don't mind taking more damage to be able to safeguard more outs for the opponent. Well, let's free the Fae. I might only do this once. Not that dangerous. It's really just Coco. If I take the opt, I can do it this turn. But then I'm tapped out. Just take the prankster. And let's free the Fae. And if he has Coco, then at least we have a removal spell to stop his combo. Let's take the borrower because it's a creature. And then, yeah, let's untap. Land. Alright, so we can choose to fight this battle, or we can just play a Picklock Prankster. Because the word is a problem, in a way. But like I said, I don't super mind going down in life. I'll have to fight over it on his turn. So let's shock. And then we'll say go. Because I can Picklock Fiery Impulse. Find the 3 steps and counter. Or I can kill this thing in response to whatever he's about to do on the end of his turn. Pass. So it is a chord for 2. Okay, let's see what he gets. Be like an innkeeper. I got a bat. Okay, well, let's shoot the Amalia. Yes. And then we can borrow the bat. Now this does put us like at risk of losing to some certain stuff, but it does let us Picklock plus a spell if he chooses not to play the bat, and if he does play the bat, then we can let it resolve, and then he has to decide what to pick, and we can borrow around a turn. Specialist is pretty annoying. Yeah, finding anger would be absolutely ridiculous. We're also just dying, unfortunately. This game took a turn at some point. We must have messed a turn up. Well, I have to take 3 here. All right, let's just let this resolve. Get on to the next step. Takes our pick log. Yeah, I mean, if he's got 2 good cards, then we're in trouble. But if we draw an anger, then we're in business. There's 1 left in the deck, 40 cards. Still think we probably play this to block here. Anger. Ashiok. Couple turns too late, huh? We need to draw something good. Perhaps a treasure cruise. Cruise would go crazy. Alright, well. Don't think this one does it. No. Borrower's interesting. Borrower's very interesting. Do shut his deck off. But we do just lose if he has exactly... Oh no, I guess we don't lose, huh? Because we can... It'll have to attack to trigger it, and then... we get to... Borrower the Amalia. Let's see, attacks me. Possible I shouldn't have done that. Did get the Dina though. Can't attack. A little bit awkward if he attacks me. I'm tapped out. You Wild Growth Walker, sir? You gotten through one? No, you probably just have one, right? Maybe you just have Cord in your hand? How sick would that be? Cool thing is if he attacks, I get to exile the thing. But if he attacks me, then I'm just dead. This is a Coco? Are you gonna cast Court of Calling? He's just gonna lose to the clock on. Oh, he's gonna cast Court of Calling. Wow, this guy loses. Hit him with the oops. Little BM. Not gonna lie, a little offensive. Maybe shouldn't have done that. The oops. Man, I probably should not have done that. I mean, he's actually winning if he just attacks me. If he attacks yeah, he attacks me, so it's actually tough. Actually becomes tough because he explores, and then I very quickly need to find an Anger of the Gods. Temple Garden, nice. I know any of your cards. Plans. No, it does not appear so. Now you have Coco. I'd love to draw a Treasure Cruise. And you have a Coco. You have Coco and Chord. You just chose to Chord first. So this guy's playing weird, honestly. So now he can own me. You gotta put that one in your yard, bro. Yeah. What's your last card, homie? You got a spell? Spell would be crazy. Cruise? Fiery Impulse. Fiery Impulse, huh? I don't have a way to draw cards. So I can go Prankster, or I can go Phoenix, block, Fiery Impulse. Just take one. I think I'm supposed to play the Phoenix, block, Fire Impulse, take one. It's just the most to prevent me from dying, and then at the very least maybe he can't attack with Amalia this turn unless he hits a creature. But yeah, I mean, my opponent's just going to lose to the clock in this match, which is nice. Maybe he'll play poorly in game 3 or something. I feel like we should have won this game, though, earlier. I mean, we hit a string of lands, but it feels like it shouldn't have gotten this far. Is my opponent just going to swing out? That would be sick. Okay. Alright, well. Go to blocks. Bing bong bing. One's pretty good. Okay. Ether Flex Reservoir is dead. But you probably have to keep it. You bin it. You bin it. And I do have a removal spell. Even Interrupter, huh? Alright. What are we doing here? Alright, these come in. These come out. This comes in. So this comes out. Not enough lands. This is enough lands. Keep. Just put this back. Put the Shredder back. Play the Fable game. Borrow the turn 2 threat. Yeah, okay. Play the Fable game. Because it's very difficult for him to do what he wants to do if I have a Borrower on 2 on the play. So I'll get to resolve my Fable and maybe make a treasure. Life Gainer is annoying. Dog. Top. Bet that dog. That's a good draw. Shock. This guy has like a bunch of protection spells. I feel like I'm not playing around. Haven't played against Amalia opponents with this many green things. Okay. Just petty theft this, and then what do you want to take? You want to take nothing. Play a Fable, and then we'll see if that's good enough to win the game. It usually is, but maybe not. He doesn't have turn 3 Chord, or Coco rather. It's a good Herald. He's gonna take our fucking anger, obviously, if he plays it again. If he plays the bat and he takes the anger, I feel okay. I mean, I need to draw some sort of interaction. But I'm gonna quickly attack him and build up a mana advantage. Okay, he's got a land. Taps, plays the bat, takes the anger. Can't attack. Draw. Something good. And up. So just gonna opt. Put that on top. Yes. Both. Attack. Would you like to block? No. Here's a Shredder. I still have Impulse up. Discarding both cruises may have been wrong, but I really wanted to find some action. It is going to make catching up in cards harder. Okay. Innkeeper, huh? It does make it a little bit easier. So if I let this Innkeeper resolve, thinking I need to do this, and he sacks. Now he can go get another dog if he wants, but not if he wants to attack. No attack means he probably has another chord. Okay, now we do need to draw some spells. Let's untap that. Let's play. Let's attack him. Okay. We can always do the trick where we target the Wildgrowth Walker, so he has to decide if he wants to save it or not. The hell is triple green? Okay, it's scored. Sure. How I would like to respond. Would you like to draw, opponent? Okay, we draw. Actually going to time himself out with the draw. So the trick we did there was basically, instead of targeting the Amalia, we target the Wildgrowth Walker, so that if he wants to save it, it ends up in a draw. So at least we get to restart the game. Yep. Do you have a way to sack your Wildgrowth Walker? Because if not, it looks like a draw to me. Sort of a funny way to win the match, but a win is a win. We would have played it another game 3. I would have been on the play again, and I think we were favored on the play, but chess clock. Back with round 3. It is hopefully going to be a mirror match. That would be fun. I think a mirror match would be great fun. We win the die roll, easy game, easy life. And we have a reasonable hand of lands and spells. A little awkward with the Stormcarved Coast, but Just play it on turn 1 and play this on turn 2 and have our options up. I want a ledger shredder for Christmas. That's what I would like. I'd like a ledger shredder on my draw step for turn 2 of this game. And then on turn 3, I would like to draw a basic island. They do have a companion. It's a Kahira, so probably control. So I should have looked at that before mulliganing, but it turns out to be a reasonable hand. I mean, this card is kind of dead, but this is a grade 6 against them. So we go tap line, they go tap line, we go profs, they lose the game. If they were to play an untapped land, I'm not sure that I would play around, although we don't have to think about it. And this might be good for this later, which is a nice little bonus. Let's draw a land. Land would be sweet. Sleight of hand is almost a land. Not quite a land. Will you let me cast my sleight of hand? Would I rather hold up Picklock plus Pierce? This is what I mean about sleight of hand. Like, it's just very rarely actually when I cast the card, unless you're going to miss your land drop. Seal until next end step. If they cast a deduce, I might counter it. I don't know. I've been thinking about deduce more in this matchup. Seems like the list that play deduce, they just have more 2-for-1s, and like the way that you beat them is you restrict their card advantage. So I'm going to pick lock, and if they have a veto, fine. But if they have absorb or whatever, I'll be happy to spell pierce. Okay, they just give it to me. It's an interesting branching point. I think because I have opt and sleight of hand, but I have the Shredder Cruise, so I'm actually more likely to just take the opt. It's like a guaranteed. Like, I just want to find my land drops right now. For later in the game, I might have taken the Cruise, but that is technically a land drop. I think we just keep it. It's really important not to miss your land drops. That is a terrible draw. We can cast our sleight of hand. There's no option there, so not a bad draw. It's a threat. We don't have a threat this game, so maybe we do. We have this thing. Maybe we should just cast this, actually. Oh, I hate that. Let's just cast this. Should have done a pre-combat for the counter. Oh wait, we wouldn't have gotten a counter because it's sleight of hand. So what could he possibly have here? 3 mana. March my profs. Okay. Well, now it's a more fair game. Top line means we don't have to respect this turn. You could play a Teferi, but I'm not super worried about a Teferi. We also get to go Phoenix, hold up Pierce, which is kind of good. Let's do that. So then if he plays the Wandering Emperor next turn, we can counter it with the Pierce, but hopefully he plays Teferi, we counter that. I like attacking for 4. We need to pressure them at some point, and we've done a good job of hitting our land drops. Obviously, leaving up just blue is terrible. Getting kind of tired. It's like midnight here. Now if he decides to attack for some reason I can't punish, maybe this will think that we don't have a removal spell, so perhaps he will not play around it when the time comes. But unfortunately, it also stops us from axing our own Phoenix, which is a nice play to make. Censor, nice card. One-mana cyclers are always good. Tapped land, go. Yeah, no reason to expose. Alright, so now we have to consider into Cruise. We have quite a bit to consider doing here. A lot of options. So the problem is if he plays... Yeah, let's just start with consider. Basically, if he like plays Emperor, we want to counter it, and then he goes untap land, Sunfall. Or sorry, yeah, Sunfall or Farewell. Both of those things would be not a great outcome for us. So instead I'm just going to try and find a land. This gets us to 7, so it's just bottomless. Land is great. So let's just kind of do it all. If he has a Dovin's Veto, then fine. We get to attack. If there's a No More Lies, I might just let it get countered. 3 steps ahead. Well, let's pierce that. We can beat a pierce. So we draw 3. Like I said, a little risky if he has like a Sunfall or something, but that's a very good draw. Only really gets punished by something like, I don't know, exactly Farewell. And this thing can't be Emperored, so we're in business. And he's at 4, so our Hall will be lethal when we draw it. And so I'll come in at Millhouse. Now, if he does land Farewell, we're... Okay, he just concedes. Nice deck. Okay, so against control, Fables are great as extra threats. 3 steps are great. The Mysticals are great. All this stuff is good. All this stuff is bad until they show you that they have targets for it, and even then, Borrower is a fine way to get yourself through it. You know, I don't mind taking a Phoenix out in this matchup because they usually have Rip. Leave all your cruises in. You have plenty of stuff to cycle. Yeah, I mean, you just want all your threats. I don't even hate keeping the 4th Phoenix in because it's like pretty good with Fable, and like as a standalone threat, it's just like attacks for 3. It's fine. It's good at wearing Proft counters because you can play it with haste. But what else do you cut, right? Yeah, I mean, I want the rest of these cards. Control, I think, is a great matchup. They just don't have much agency. Like, they have to hope that you don't really execute your plan very well. Like, even this hand is probably fine. Not amazing, but not terrible. We have a Hall, which is big. And now we have a Dispute. So if he tries to Narset us, then we have a way to answer it, which is why, one of the main reasons why we keep Spell Pierce in. Because, yeah, it can be dead in some spots later in the game. But if you get Narseted early, you can very quickly lose the game. Yeah, let's just take the Hall. Hall's great. I have to find ways to answer this. No Narset. So, I'd rather cast the Opt here. The Picklock is higher value. Let's just keep that. There's no reason to bin those at this point in the game. They should be very useful. We are going to fire these off, though, pretty quickly. You do that with the soft counters most of the time, like if they cast a card draw spell, you just want to counter it. Dispute is a little bit better than Pierce a lot of the times, but it does not catch the white spells, so like Sunfall, etc. So here I'm going to cast my Picklock, because if he counters it, then he won't have 4 mana to spend on my turn. He might even Deluge in response, which I would snap this Dispute off of. Basically, like, your opponent just has like 4 and 5 mana spells that matter, and you have stuff that cost 2 and 1 and 3 that matter. So it's like, you just have this mana advantage as long as you keep hitting your land drops. We miss. That is unfortunate. Let's untap. At least if we draw a cruise now, it will be very live. I'm okay to just play a Picklock because we don't have much else to do with our mana. We have double Dispute, so we can counter the Deluge and then the Teferi. Yeah, basically snap. Countering these Deluges on turn 4. If they start missing their land drops, it's very difficult for them to win. So Narset, I'm gonna counter it. It's gonna veto. Or No More Lies, sure. Now, do you down tick is the question. Do you down tick opponent? I would like to know. No downtick. So I can play Phoenix, attack it, or I can borrower it and then hold up borrower. I'm going to play the Phoenix. This is fairly difficult for him to deal with. Let's turn off auto yields. I draw more than one card each turn, so that's just fine. He's got an answer to one haul. We only got 3 cards though, is kind of what I mean. Like, they just run out of cards. 36. Yeah, this is just good, I think. So if I attack both, and he plays Emperor, and then kills my prankster, where does that leave me? If I play another Phoenix, let's slide of hand first. Another Fable, huh? Alright, let's just try and get this thing off the board so we can start chaining these Fables. Like, absolutely want this off the board. If he has an Emperor plus removal spell, then he'll... Now, if he untaps in Exile Wrath, then I'll play 2 Fables, or 1 Fable, and hold up Borrower. Oh, he says another Narsa, okay. Now you minus. It's a little awkward, isn't it? Dovin's Veto, okay. Now you Supreme Verdict? No verdict. So do you have a Wandering Emperor? Okay, well, he vetoed it, and he doesn't have no Moralize up. So I'm going to slam this. And now you're going to pickle opponent. Neither of us have any cards, but I have a huge board, and you have a Memory Deluge in your board. Okay, I lost my thing. Okay, now you Wrath, and then it is a game. Narset. Devin's Veto. Nice deck. You have all these counter spells and they don't do anything. Attack Narsa, attack Narsa, attack Via, attack Via. Just kind of like doing this patiently. I just want to kill the Narsa. It's like worst case scenario he wraths and I go Borrower attack with a Haul. I know he has a veto, so could also get a key hero, I guess. Days Undoing. And the turn. Okay, well, let's just fucking cast this thing, man. Now you gotta beat me with 7 cards and tapping with 4 mana. Seems tough. Seems like a tough ask. Nice. Yeah, blue-white is, they're just structurally, you know, they have a tough time structurally because all their shit is expensive and they have all these like negate effects post board and you're just like killing them with creatures. Alright, we won the roll. Round 4. Fine hand, a lot of cantrips, some removal. If we're playing against control, it's a little whatever, but if it's not Niv or some control deck, it's pretty good. Kind of mid against vampires, but pretty Thoughtseize proof. Let's keep. I'm gonna go Hall in case we draw a second Hall. I'm gonna keep any land, so if we draw a second Hall, we will indeed be keeping the second Hall if we find it adopt. Now, this is a good opportunity to talk about cantrip ordering. So, my general heuristic is if I am looking for a land, I'm happy to cast Opt. If I already have lands, then I'd rather cast Consider in case I see a Phoenix. Yeah, we're just gonna let that happen. It is vampires. Pretty good mix this league. Quint, blue, white, Amalia, vampires. Maybe we'll get a mirror in round 5. If I'm him, I'm probably just taking Consider. Takes the Opt. Interesting choice. It's probably wrong. Probably better to take the Consider. But I don't mind. That is a land, but now we know we're playing vampires, so we'd really like to find a Spell Pierce, so let's just bin it. Another Impulse is pretty bad, given the fact that they didn't take either of the first two. Land is good, but glad we binned that one. Probably gonna have to play this on red to let us play a double Impulse draw. If he plays a Blood Tithe, I'm gonna Consider and Fiery Impulse it. Zealot, I'm less excited about Fiery Impulsing. On top. Step. This is a weird one, because, like, if he goes Sorin Ripper, and we go... Yeah, I mean, if he has Sword Ripper, then... What are we looking for? We're looking for Spell Pierce, or 3 Sevs, or maybe a Shredder would be okay. What's on the bottom? Pierce, great. And a Phoenix. I think we want a red. And then hopefully he just plays Sword and we counter it, and then we can play the game. If he plays Fable, pretty tempted to counter it, but yeah, let's just take one. Don't mind taking one. Plays Sorin, we're countering it. Plays Fable. Yeah, I mean, we just have to counter this, even if he doesn't have Ripper. We don't know that. So now I could shoot this, but axe. A little awkward. He knows we have the impulses, so he's not going to fire up his Mutavaults, but maybe he has a Shieldred. Okay, Duress is funny. There's an argument for axing this now, because he's going to take the axe. Don't hate that, actually. Turn off our auto yields. Now, if we draw a cruise, we're going to win the game. Unless he goes Land, Sword, and Ripper, in which case we're in trouble. Yeah, if he just says go here, then we draw a cruise one time. Proft is okay too. Picklock, cruise, anything like that would be great. Proft giving us a redraw is quite nice. If we had drawn a Temporal Trespass, it would have been pretty awful. Iteration also would have been kind of mid. least we get a redraw. And maybe our opponent just will miss the land drop again and like have some 4 and 5 and, you know, 2 Vein Rippers or whatever in his hand. Not draw Sorin. We'll have to ask. Draw Cruise. Island. I'm gonna play it. Reason being that if we draw Cruise, maybe we want to play the land we draw with the Cruise. You still can't attack, which is good. If he plays Shieldred, we can kill it. Sorin Ripper here is tough. Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like he draws a Sorin, or he had 2. Shredder's not terrible. Have to make kind of a weird play here. We're gonna bolt our own Shredder. Alright, we miss on the land, or the spell. So, not great, but at least our guy doesn't die. Yeah, let's play the land. We have 3/5. If he wants to attack with his Sorin, he at least has to give us the Sorin back. But he can get lifelink. Yeah, we needed to draw Cruise at some point. Push. Yeah, okay. That's tough. If we draw Cruise, we can maybe dig our way out of this. We draw like Picklock into Cruise and play the Picklock and axe this thing. 7/6 doesn't even work. Well, I might lose this game. Now we just draw land. Alright, we're dead. Take 7, pull me. Vampire's a good deck. Right, bring these in. Bring this in, bring this in. And then we're cutting some fiery impulses. Cutting the sleight of hand, so we're cutting 1 Phoenix. Let's run it back. Fables are remarkably good in this matchup, since you can, especially on the play it into the Ripper draw, and then have a creature to sacrifice, as well as make a treasure token, so it helps a lot. Obviously, sometimes they do their thing. They go Thoughtseize, Duress, Sorin, or whatever. But that is okay. Because they were playing a good deck, and they should win some games. But maybe we can win the post-board games and call it square. Find Christ. Jesus Christ. This guy. Wonder if that game's different if we keep the sleight of hand that one turn. Maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Alright, this hand is fine. It's very good against a leyline draw. Doesn't have leyline. He's too smart. We do get posterized by the Ripper draw again. Okay, now we can at least play the Borrower out and then Axe. Thoughtseize probably takes Profts. Maybe he takes the Axe. Depends on his hand. He does take the Axe, so he almost certainly just has Storm Ripper again, which is bad news bears. So in this spot, I'm gonna just say go and Picklock. I can play this on a later turn and utilize the counter. And this will dig me farther for a way to interact with the Sorin combo. Play Duress. Duress me, bro. Okay, nothing. Yeah, he almost certainly has Sorin Ripper. Bot season nothing. Sorin Ripper is the classic. Alright, well, we just take the 3 steps. And then we have Borrower plus 3 steps active. If he plays Fable, I might just play Borrower. Or like bounce the token, consider. Notably, 2 of our X's are in the yard now, which is a problem. He plays Sorin, so I'm forced to just counter it. If he has another Sorin Ripper, then we're just cooked, probably. We can go Prost Picklock here. This is a good setup turn, but like I said, it does leave us vulnerable to him just killing us. That's my other option. Hold up, consider. Put a counter on this, and then there you go. Don't play another Sorin, man. Oh, thank God. That's much easier to deal with, honestly. We have our own Fable. These guys consider. Spell Pierce, huh? In the graveyard. We can consider again. So if I put this in the graveyard, and then, yeah, let's bin this to another consider. So if I play Fable, we attack for 4. He can play a Ripper, but then I have like a big problem for her to deal with here. Yeah, okay, let's play the Fable. And he does have free reign this turn, but it's the worst thing that can happen. You can play a Ripper. Do I make a big Shaman or make a big? I gotta make a big Picklock. If he pushes it, whatever. This is a flying blocker. Maybe we can find a cruise next turn. We have these Borrowers as backup in case he's got, like, you know, Shieldred or whatever. Swamp. Pretty good card here. It's 4 for 1. Definitely blocking if he doesn't push my guy. Land, attack, block, play Ripper. Duress. Take my consider. Bastard. Had plans for that. Fable. Okay. Sweet card. Attack. No attack. Draw. So probably want to discard 2 cards, but I also kind of want to get his Shamans. Make a big attack. If he does push, then I get kind of punished there. Alright, let's discard 2. Let's go to this 2. Yes, this. Phoenix, huh? You can play Phoenix, and then now he can't push the Phoenix. But I also don't get to Borrower the token if my Goblin Shaman doesn't get to attack. But this is like 9 damage in the air. So let's put this here. Just takes it. Interesting. Do I want to land in play or do I want a card in my hand? I think I want to land in play. Not sure what he can have here, honestly. He's at 1. Got 2 5 power or 2 4 power attackers. He does get to draw a bunch of cards. I guess he could have Extinction Event would kind of ruin me. Extinction Event would be pretty good here on even. Duress, Harvester. Neither of those are very good. Yeah, basically, if you can make it past the Sorin Ripper wave, and then, like, if they pay 6 for a Ripper, it's not so bad. The problem arises when they pay 3 for it. Granted, even Ripper won't save him here, I don't think. Because I have the Borrower. Push my guy. Okay. You have attack, push my other guy or something? Attack, attack, make 2 treasures. Play Ripper. Lose. Am I missing something? You can play a blocker and have a push. You could have Sorin Ripper. Doesn't seem like that's good enough. Okay. Or we'll simply untap. And then I would like to Petty Theft this guy. No, I would like it to attack you. I guess he had a push and he was hoping I'd attack the Sorin or something. Alright, so we won the 1 on the play. And now we're on the draw. And we don't really want to make any changes. Unfortunately, this is the only thing that I could see, because we saw his Blood Tithe plus Fable, so like we could bring Ingers in on the draw to kind of save that whole situation. The question is, what do you cut? A Fable and a 3 steps maybe, but this is so good. You got a Borrower and another Phoenix maybe. You leave the Fables in. Yeah, okay. Let's try that. So one of the ways you can lose is if you get run over by their like Blood Tithe into blah 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 girl. So this hand is good against Thoughtseize, but we do need to find lands, and also we need to find a way to interact. He started with 7 again, which is just demoralizing. So let's keep 7. This counts as triple cantrip with the land is fine. Not great in the matchup on the draw, but what are you supposed to do, you know? Mulligan these? Are you supposed to mulligan these hands? Maybe. Probably just takes my axe again. Probably just has this Sorin Ripper again. He's gonna take my opt again. It's so strange. Why would you take opt? I feel like consider is better. Takes the Profts. Okay, he was sick of it. He saw it last game. He said that's enough. All right. Well, we have an axe and a Phoenix, which is good. But we need to find a land and a Spell Pierce. So maybe we should have just mulliganed. Thoughtseize again. Okay. Maybe he's on the low resource game. He's just like, Thoughtseize you to rest you. Give 7. So I bet his hand is like fucking Sword and Ripper, Duress, land. Fucking sicko. Took the Borrower. So he's taking my threats here. Seems kind of strange. He doesn't play a land. That is obscene. Let's see if we can find a land. It's on the bottom. Show me a land. Oh, a land. Beautiful. Alright, well he missed his land drop and he kept double Thoughtseize, so he must have like Sword and Ripper or something. I wouldn't be surprised if he has another interaction spell. Maybe a push. Yeah, yard. Opt for a land. Oh, Shredder's so good though, but we think he has a push. Alright, so we can go shock, but if he takes our profs, I'll be sad. But then we get to go pick lock. I mean, it's like weird. So like playing profs is better. Let's play the profs, because like to chain the Phoenix turns, you want your pick locks. Like, this doesn't count for the Phoenix turns. Like the one awkward part about the inclusion in the deck list is that you have to like consider this when you're setting your turns up. I mean, maybe he'll just miss another line drop. Okay, he found it. Scary. Play a creature, bro. Hearse. That's pretty good. Yield until the next end step. Okay, Thoughtseize Hearse. One land. On the play. Maybe if he also has Sword and Ripper here. Okay, keep that on top. It's just too good. Especially with this Hearse. Oh, yeah. I'm actually going to play this tapped, I think. No, I'm going to shock. If he misses another land drop, we probably just win the game with our double Fable. And if he has Sword and Ripper, then we'll want to be able to axe end of turn. And then untap and do some broken shit. So we're going to get counters from this next turn. And a treasure. And we should be able to find a cruise if we're not unlucky. And if we find a cruise, we're attacking for like 6 or something. He finds the land. So now he almost certainly has Sword and Ripper, but is he worried about the Spell Pierce? If he's worried about Spell Pierce, he probably can't play around it. I imagine if... Wow, he just had Thoughtseize Hearse and thought that was good. Is he really trying to play around Spell Pierce? It feels like a crazy thing to do. Alright, well... So we can pick lock in response. Find 3 steps. Bigums. Let's pitch this in this. And then we'll attack for 4. If he wants to kill this, I think that's fine. Yes. So now we go shock. Play another Fable. Could have held up 3 steps, but He would need like removal spell, double removal spell plus to get a Sorin Ripper through this. I guess if he has another Duress or Thoughtseize, he can go land, Thoughtseize, Sorin Ripper. I'm not really afraid of anything else. Harvester is fine. Can crew. But if he crews, I get to axe it. He crews attacks. This is a crazy attack. This is an insane attack. Unhinged attack. Oh. So draw 2, draw 4, 7, 10, 12. I'm gonna pitch 3 steps in Phoenix. I can go Shredder. Shredder, Axe. I can just go put the counters. Attack. Hold up Axe 3 steps and he can't win. He could maybe win if his board was not. I don't know. He's cooked. He is cooked. He had 1 land in play for too long. On the play, Thoughtseize Hearse just keeps that. I don't know. Seems like a risky play. If he has a land, he's probably gonna win though. So the Hearse would just be like fucking gigantic. If I had double Hearse, Thoughtseize double Hearse. Bitter Triumph, my guy. I guess I'm just gonna draw 2 cards and counter target spell. Do I even care? I don't even think I care. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's in a bad spot, but maybe his only chance was attacking. Maybe he's right. Unfortunately, I have Fables rolling, so it's tough to get through that with your Blood Tithe Harvesters. And now I have, yeah, I've got this absolute, you can't win the game now after turn 5 card, so. Yeah, I mean, Thoughtseize hurts. Push, probably. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Curse. Better Triumph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, double hearse. Yeah, I don't know if that's a keep, man. Alright, so we're on the draw. And Villain has kept 7 again. Because our opponents don't. Although, when they do mulligan, they usually mulligan to like 5 or 4. So, you know, you take what you can get. I think this hand's okay. I don't have a red source, so it's a little bit awkward. Let's see what he's got. Yorion means this card's not great. Means that I need to opt for a land, but the Borrower is pretty good. But if he just goes like Beanstalk on me, I don't know. It's either 5 color or it's blue-white, and this is an okay hand against both. I'm gonna keep. I think it's like a little loose. If he's playing Fables, yeah. Okay, so probably has Fables. This is probably okay, and that was a really bad draw. No Beanstalk one time. Don't Beanstalk me. He's playing Niv then. Island and Dotha. Beanstalk. God damn it. All right, these are the games we lose. Beanstalk games are very difficult. We're gonna keep that because, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should have bottomed it for a land, but we need some sort of way to get rid of these cards. All right, we're actually going to pick lock this turn. We are owned by this Beanstalk. It's going to own us. We have to, like, quickly kill him. Do some broken shit. Unfortunately, once he gets to 5 mana and starts casting shit, it's like very difficult to keep up with the card advantage. You can sometimes beat 1 Beanstalk, but 2 is very difficult. Alright, we take the Pierce, but then we need to draw a land, like, desperately. Land? Jesus Christ, we did discard a Phoenix. Cheese and rice. Oh, we are doomed. We're gonna get to cruise next turn, though? Maybe we can come out of it. Okay. If he plays a Fable, I'm pretty tempted to counter it. Even though that gives him Bring to Light stuff. Ancient Cornucopia. Okay, now this card we can Brazen Borrower, but then we won't have Picklock. We can Brazen Borrower this later, I guess. 5 counter. Suppose colors only gets 2 with Bring to Light. It's like, alright, if we draw, we need to draw a land, unfortunately. This is the problem with this hand, is if we don't draw the lands, then we have a tough spot. We're in a tough spot, so do we counter it? Or sorry, do we bounce it, or do we Picklock? If we Picklock, we can maybe bounce it next turn. But we need to... Okay, we can take the Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no matter what, we'll have 7. Plus the Phoenix. Let's take the Borrower, because it's one of our best cards in the matchup. Because we want to use it as a threat. Land. Fuck, man. Okay. Well, we need to draw a land right now. Or the game ends. Okay, we did draw a land. It's a big first step, actually. So now, can bin with the impulses, but But then we're kind of loose to the Omnaths of the world. Our Spell Pierce is alive for one more turn, so let's just say go. And we can borrow this if they don't do anything. We can discard a Fiery Impulse. If he plays Omnath, we're in trouble, but what are you gonna do? So this guy has a binding or something? What's going on here? I think he's got a binding, which is kind of annoying. Oh, we have to discard multiple cards. Could be worse for our second cruise in our hand. Yeah, so we have Borrower this in a turn, or we have Pierce Your Thing. Blue, black, green, blue. Green, red, blue, white. Draw a card, get it pierced. Draw a card. Spell Pierce Your Hoe. If you miss your land drop, I get to Shredder Borrower. Game 2. That's your land drop. Big deal. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna go Shredder Borrower. Could go Shredder, but let's try and get him off 5 mana for a turn. A land is good. Land is very good. Probably means we pitch the Sleight of Hand. And we yield. And you miss your land drop again, and we win because our opponents miss land drops, because that's how Magic works. Life could be a dream. Now, hopefully our borrowers will just be able to get us through at the end of the game. If we can manage to dodge. Blue. White, blue, green. Cornucopia. Cast another spell. Exile my guy. Vanishing Verse. Trigger. Life could be a dream. So Sleight of Hand is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shredder, Borrower, Cruise. That does work. Problem is that he's gaining all this life, and we're just going to die. Shredder. Petty Theft Your Thing again. Trigger. Pin this. Petty Theft that. Cast Treasure Cruise. 2, 3. Oh, it doesn't fucking work, man. I'm not even sure it's worth it. Untapped land would be a disaster here. These games are tough, but pre-board for sure. You just have like exile removal and you're not super well equipped. You have a bunch of Fiery Impulses in your deck. Post-board does get a lot better though. And we could still win this game. It's not over like Red Rover. Cast this. Say go. I drew a card off the fucking beanstalk. I hate this deck, man. Okay, so let's try and chain our stuff. And if we fail, then we probably just lose because we have all these burn spells in our deck. If we draw a land plus Profts, it's fine. Oh, yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? Structurally not a great matchup. But we do get much better post board. They're also usually unprepared for our sideboard plan. I like to leave a couple of X's in and bring all of these out in case they have rest in pieces. And then kind of just like play the fish style game plan. Then you have some sort of haymakers, Confable and Ashiok. If they get to like, really it's the beanstalk. The beanstalk is the issue most of the time. Just like inevitably it's going to be difficult to power through that. Let's actually, let's just go down to 1 axe. And once again, just rely on our counter magic and brazen borrowers to carry. We're bringing the Ashiok in. They have a couple of fetch lines, and then also they have Bring to Light, obviously. So if you can protect the Ashiok, it is like a real play. Also, sometimes like they'll Binding the Ashiok, and then they'll go to cast Bring to Light, but they won't have any mana up. Or you can leverage that to make your Spell Pierces worth it. Obviously, all your counter magic is pretty good, and you really want a threat. Like, our hand in retrospect was not good against Niv. It's possible we should have mulliganed. Missing our land drops was the biggest issue. If we had more mana, we could have abused the fact that he missed his 5th land drop. Yeah, we're forced to keep this hand. Obviously, it looks good, but we just got burned on a similar one, so, you know, gambler's fallacy or whatever, but I do think this is good. Playing a Shredder early is strong. If they don't deal with it immediately, it can get out of hand. We also have the picklocks to continue to grind into the later stages of the game, and we have 3 steps and dispute to interact, so, you know, only thing I'd ask for is this to be another land. Or maybe a cantrip or something. Okay. Land is a great draw. We're just going to play this. And if he doesn't kill it immediately, then we're going to get to start pecking him in there for 1. Maybe we'll get to connive. If he plays Rest in Peace, we win the game. Okay, not a Rest in Peace, but perhaps a Binding. No, he doesn't have a Swamp. Canal's a great draw. Get in there. Alright, yeah, I mean, very headless game. It would be hard to lose. You can even counter a Beanstalk or whatever he plays this turn. Happy to just burn the Dispute for full mana if I have to counter a spell here. Interestingly, if he Bindings, I'm black-red. Doubled. Molten Collapse. I didn't really mind that he's doing this, but we might be able to get a connive out of it. No connive. Alright, this hand is coming together pretty well. Problem is that they really do have the inevitability a lot of the time. There's like their top decks are just very, very strong. Now we would have to counter a Rest in Peace because of how it stacks up against our hand. So we would very much like to resolve the Treasure Cruise. Camball. Camball. If I prankster, then I'd have borrowers to look for. But I could just counter this thing. Question is, do I use 3 steps or Mystical Dispute? If I 3 steps it, then I get to go prankster, but then I can't counter a non-blue spell. I get to go Prankster Cruise, but then he gets to resolve any non-blue spell. Do I care about a lot of the non-blue spells? I don't think so. So I guess we should just counter it, because we get to resolve our cruise with this up. Picklock, treasure cruise, hold the dispute is fine. Fable is very interesting. Fable is a very interesting draw. We could resolve this Fable right now, but it doesn't play us. It doesn't give us a land this turn. I would kind of like a land this turn. Spell Pierce, okay, and he's got a player on that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No land is absolutely wild, but obviously we can't risk it. That is really depressing. In a different world, we would have simply drawn a land, and then would have been able to hold this up, and this up, and this up. And instead we are missing lands when we add a land to our deck. Say Levy, that is Magic the Gathering. That's why we play the game. White, green. No, not a beanstalk. Anything but the beanstalk. Excellent. I'll spell pierce the fuck out of this. Yes, give me that ass. You knew about this spell pierce, you fool. Maybe we'll get away with it. Maybe we'll get away with a free game. Aether Gust is nice. And this is land drop again. Just want to play a Fable. He's a bindings. And then we have Dispute Consider. I don't want to lose to 5 mana, go get Valkyrie or whatever. He's got push. He's got a Fatal Push. Okay. Yeah, the question is, do we look for a land? It's so greedy, but the answer is no. We have this Fable rolling. Let's just take the safe play. I don't think we need to gamble when he's missing land drops. If he hits a land drop here, then I feel dumb. No land drop is perfect. No reason to gamble, though. Alright, now we consider... Any land would be great. He's got some Notion Thief action. I guess that one is kind of a problem, huh? No. We're gonna play another Fable. Okay, well, we didn't play around the Notion Thief, and now we might lose anyway. But it's possible that Mystical Dispute plus Gust is enough to get us out of this mess. Tapped land is hilarious. Oh, let's not block this Notion Thief. And we can play around Notion Thief in Game 3 if we get a Game 3. Townball and Notion Thief makes me want to keep it more removal. Bog is pretty good. Bog. Look at the top 10. That is so insane. Yeah, we look like we're in trouble now, actually. We're gonna try and move the flip Fables, I guess. And we can't even do shit. Discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw the mini cards. No. Flip. Shock. Attack. No killing my token is a great sign. Means that it's unlikely that he has some shit to kill my token. Which means that it's fairly likely that we're gonna have a Reflection survive. Lightning Helix. I think I'm gonna dispute this thing. I think that's how we win the game. We win with this shit. If he's got something good, then we're in trouble. But if he just goes blue-green, do the thing, then I'm not that scared. Black, red, white is what? Colligan's Command. Target player discards a card. Deals 2 damage to any target. Okay, let's Aether Gust this thing. It's on top, so you can't fetch without moving it. Show me what you got. They fetch, they move it. Blue, black, green, cornucopia. And more ego. Alright, whatever. What the hell you got a name? Arclight Phoenix is hilarious, seeing as, you know, they're in the sideboard. This feels like a clippable moment. Nice deck. Let's attack. Maybe we can sneak this game away from this fucking Notion Thief that I didn't play around that I could have easily played around. Here you go, buddy. Have you got a 5-mana Haymaker card? I just said Niv Mizzet, huh? Okay. So if he finds a binding, I'm in trouble. Alright. You got a push but no binding. And he did not get a black source untapped. So I think he's just dead. Unless he already has a binding, in which case I am just dead. Not just dead, but somewhat snookered. Colligan's Command and Pillage. Do you have a binding, sir? And if I copy and he has a binding, how bad is that? This feels like he's just got a binding, right? Let's find out. So I get Spell Pierce. Yeah, I get Spell Pierce. I Spell Pierce it. Make a copy. Block. Make a copy, tag. So that'd be 10 to block. I don't have the mana. Okay. Okay. So now we have double cruise plus Proft, which is probably good. Found the axe. And we have 3 steps up too, so can play the Proft. Draw. Ashiok. Ashiok. Let's go opt on the bottom. Cruise again. Maybe could have sequenced that a little differently. Maybe could have played the Shredder. But ultimately I have a 3 steps up and it's going to be tough for him to get out of this one. Post board, now that you have 3 steps plus Fable, I think the matchup becomes a little different. Once again, if they play a Banestalk, this game is a lot different. I guess it's not that different this game, but I should play around this and I should keep some removal in for the thing. But yeah, I mean, how's he gonna win now? You explain it to me, because I don't understand. I guess he'd need, like, double Haymaker this turn. He's gonna, like, cast Pillage the Bog. Black green, yeah, he's defeated. He's Demonic Tutored twice. Do you have a solution for the game state? Would you like to explain to me how you are going to win? Granted, this is only game 2. I have 10 minutes on the clock, so I need to be cognizant of the fact that I should make sure I play fast. Because I'm losing the chess clock war currently. Although that is going to change. took a long time on that last turn. Yeah, so he tanks and he takes something irrelevant, probably. Vanishing Verse. So I know he's got Colligan's Command. Do I care about this? I don't think I even really care about this at all. Although I guess it is just lethal next turn. But I have to use all my mana. I don't think he can win if I just like wait. Alright, let's just let it resolve. I'll just play patiently. I have tons of threats. He's got a 10 card hand. He's got 3 cards. He's gonna run out of mana. He can't really stop me anyway. Have this Fable nonsense going. I never have to play another spell. This just makes it harder for him to interact with it because I'll target the copy. So he'll have to kill the copy, which can then target one of the real ones, which he'll then have to kill. So he'll need 3 removal spells instead of 2 to stop me from continuing to go off with this now. Which is really just too much to ask one man to do. Mardu. I don't think I really care. It just means I have to juggle these a little bit. But I can put like 12 power into play at the end of turn, more than that. I don't think he can actually come back from this, but I guess it's possible. And we still have a whole other game to play. So I'd like to just mentally check out of this one, but if you do that, then you end up losing games like this, so let's continue playing the game we're in until there is an outcome. It's like 1 AM now, I'm tired. I gotta just figure out a better time to do this recording or something. I think our opponent is realizing that he is doomed. But I will just let him burn the clock and try and figure it out because I'm convinced that he's dead. So even if he kills this one now, then I can just juggle these in perpetuity, paying 2 mana per end step to keep them around. But it won't take that many end steps to just kill him. I would like to make some more copies, friend. think I can just kill him on my untap. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6. He's got 2 mana. What can he do? He doesn't have any weight. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Eight minutes left. Not a ton of time. Like I said, I think we want to bring in some of these. I'm not sure he has Omnath. I'm not sure that he has the Omnaths in his deck. I didn't see any graveyard hate, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have it. 2 Fiery Impulses. Problem is, like, how many does he have, right? Does he bring him back out on the play? No, that can't be right. Let's bring that in. I think this card is good. Maybe these are worse on the draw. So you can pressure them better. Or something. I don't know. Maybe Dash Shocks are just good. They do, like, give you a game plan. Alright, we've got a game plan. We've got Profts plus Fable, so let's keep. And we have a 3-step, so unless he plays this stupid artifact, then we should be able to counter his 5-drop. This Profts plus Fable plan is just very, very, very strong. Every time I carve this, it feels like I'm playing a different format or something. Tribal enchantments. Miss your land drop, win the game. That would be sensational. Sensational way to end this wonderful league. Alright, until next end step. We do need to play fast, so if the commentary is not there, forgive me. I think we keep. Yeah, let's just get this in play. You can't binding this turn, so he's got to do it next turn if he wants to do it. And then we have a Fable rolling. Borrower is quite the good draw. If he plays the green thing, then if he plays Beanstalk, then we're less happy than we would be if he did not. Because Beanstalk, like we said many times before, is disgusting. But if he just like doesn't do anything this turn, I'm absolutely ecstatic. Resolving Fable on this board. Nothing on the board would be sensational. Tapped, please. Tapped, bro. Oh no. He's got a spell. He's gonna plot the thing. Cast Comball. Non-creature spell. Comball is annoying. But Fable is still fine play. You take 2, but Fable, take me home, country road, to the place I belong. Let me draw a Fiery Impulse, since we boarded them back in. Got 3 in the deck. Don't play anything broken here, opponent. Don't you play anything broken. Attack is wild. Surprising attack. Makes me think he has a way to deal with our shaman or some sort of a blocker. If he plays Omnath, we're cooked. We're not cooked, but it is annoying. Notion Thief. Alright. Let's see if we can do the thing where we draw the card we want. Pitch this and this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, well. Man, we were pwned. LMAO. GG's. Okay, well apparently, you know, even seasoned Moto players can get owned by onboard stuff sometimes. I should have borrowed this and then done it. And then maybe we could win. But now we're probably snookered. Oh man. That is embarrassing. Yeah, because then we could have disputed on the way back down and this game would have been playable. As it is, we're just gonna die. We're gonna die. It's a almost sure thing now. I don't know. Maybe his hand isn't that good, and if he casts a spell this turn, so let's say he attacks for 5, we go to 9. And he casts a spell, we counter it and bounce the comm ball. Then we draw a removal spell for the Notion Thief. Then we're back in business, but obviously -2, +2. Yeah, it couldn't have been a worse decision there. Unmoored Ego. Unmoored Ego, huh? Petty theft this thing. Dispute that thing. Now we gotta win an impossible game that we dug ourselves into that would never happen in real life. Or at least, I guess it would happen in real life since it's happening right now, but Moto is a funny game. Yeah, you have to attack because you're not blocking. Go to 9. And you replay combo, I counter it. Oh, Fiery Impulse is very good there. Man, imagine if we just like had done it right, would have had it all. We could have had it all. Attack. Kinda do have it all right now. We might still win this game. It's definitely still winnable. But it should have been much easier. You'll see the clock is reversing order. Helix my guy. Helix my guy, huh? Helix my guy. Let's kill your guy. Does make the game way harder than it needed to be. If he plays combo, I have to counter it. Blue white. Black. Combo. I have to just counter this thing. This is too good. Too good. Too good against me at 9. Then you play a Fable? He'd suck. It'd be annoying. Pillage. Okay. Also a good one. If he doesn't find a binding, then I get to cruise, put counters on, and we win? Question mark? Yeah, now the timer ticks down. This matchup is not good for them if I win this game. That is embarrassing if I do. Embarrassing for me and them, frankly. What do you take? Do you take my token? Yo, I took the profs. Interesting. I don't know if I would have done that. I had to really think about it. So Shredder, Cruise. I think I just cruise first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play this, attack. Now we have Borrower and Gust. If we get to pierce something here, it's GG. White, green. Oh, Niv. Do you think I'm supposed to cast this? Not sure how else I win if I don't cast it. Two, 3, 4, 5. You can take a knife twice. He goes for it. What are we doing here, buddy? Niv. Yep, you cast it, you give me the connives. You give me the connives. You give me the connives. What are you targeting? Targeting that. Discard the coast. Discard Fiery Impulse. Spell Pierce. Okay. Don't tell me there's a chance. Don't tell me there's a chance in hell. Me to consider. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Boom. We find a Proft in a land. That'd be nuts. Discard, consider. 3 steps is interesting. Discard the land. No land is tough. If we'd found a land, we could have held 3 steps up, and I would have been more excited about this game state. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You go to 5. He gets to pillage next turn. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll almost certainly find it. So our hope is to also find it. Our clock is also an enemy. It's got 2 cards. Yeah, if I don't do the Fable mistake, this game is an easy win. Instead, we're flying by the seat of our pants here. Presumably cast pillage here. He does have to actually kill us, and his clock's hurting him too. Abrupt decay. Okay. And you just abrupt decay again, I guess. And attack for 5. You just attack for 5. Not pillaging seems kind of wild to me. So I'll try and find a land. That does work. Has a binding. Interesting. Let's counter this. Trigger Shredder. Discard a Shredder. Attack. Yield. Put 2 to 1 and lethal to my board and land. What's he got? He's going to lose to his clock is what he's got. Bring to light, Vanishing Verse. Oh, you're dead. Nice. I think he conceded. We don't need this one. Let's just take this one. Stream, recorded league, 5-0. I would say it feels good to 5-0, and you know that game would have been fairly easy had we not Omega punted to start it with the Fable on the Notion Shredder. I mean, I even said that we got to play around the Notion thing in game 2, and we did not. We fucking played into it. Okay, I will come back and do a sort of roundup on this iteration of the deck. I do think this is basically close to what I'll be playing in DC, assuming nothing big changes and you know nothing gets banned or whatever. I think this deck is great. I think a lot of the bad matchups are 50-50. I think a lot of the good matchups are like 80-20. I think, you know, even Lotus Field is not as bad because you have like actual stack interaction and you know a good aggressive proactive plan. We didn't actually do the Shredder Profs thing this legal bunch, but we still 5-0'd. So like, you know, you see what they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power, right? Like, but yeah, I'll come back and do a roundup. All right, so just want to do a quick recap of the league. We played against Amalia, Vampires, Quint, Niv to Light, and what was the fifth deck? Oh, Vampires. So pretty good spread. And we even made some horrendous misplays, just absolute punts, and still won. So, you know, it's nice that, you know, our deck's power level is high enough that we can, you know, make some atrocious errors and still win. You know, obviously we want to play a little tighter than that, but you can't argue with the 5-0. You know, obviously I didn't do a breakdown of each sideboarding plan, and, you know, some stuff changes on the play or the draw, but hopefully just watching the matches, you got a good idea on how I like to sideboard. You know, I'm not sure we ever got to actually copy a flipped Fable with 3 steps, and I'm not sure that we got to go Profs into Shredder, Cantrip, Connive, which is something to be said because, you know, we were able to win even if we weren't executing our game plans exactly how we wanted to, which I think is actually a plus. Because when you do have these draws, it's very strong, and this is just a very strong endgame engine. Hopefully you're able to see that, you know, even with the Graveyard Hate in play, we were able to operate given our 2-for-1 spread and, you know, come out on top in the matchups. Obviously we got a little bit lucky in spots, but, you know, you need to get lucky when you're playing Magic if you want to win. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Discord, Coleman P on Discord. And yeah, I'll be doing some more video content as we approach the RC in November. It's either October or November in Washington, D.C. Very likely, unless something changes in the format, I'll be playing some version of Phoenix at the event, and I'll be documenting my testing process up to that point. But this 75 I'm very happy with. In the sideboard, I think these cards could all be something else in certain metagames. This is all sort of flexible. You know, all of it's pretty flexible, honestly. You could end up on whatever plans you want. And like I said before, the core of the deck is so powerful that if you don't like certain card choices that I've made in my deck list, you don't be beholden to my opinions necessarily. You should try and make your own opinions, make some statements about the format or about the deck, how you want to play, how you want to build the deck, and then experiment and test those hypotheses to come to conclusions that, you know, you'll be happier with in game, because ultimately it's you that's going to have to play the games. So like I said, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Discord. I've got a 80-page written primer on the deck available for 20 USD that also gives you access to a private Discord where you can reach me pretty consistently, especially in season. And you also get access to a sideboard matrix, which I update with my recent lists, and have a pretty broad matchup base for that sideboard guide that I update regularly. So that is pretty much it. I hope this was informative or entertaining, maybe a little bit of both, and I'll see you again.